I'm just going to ask you first, what did you think of the speech?
I thought it was good. I'm up here in Washington, and there's so many people up here who don't dislike President Trump. They hate him. And it's, it's a mentality that is here. They just can't get over the fact that someone who's not Washingtonian could be president of the United States. And then all these things he's doing, Beth, I thought he was convincing, very convincing in the three issues that I care the most about. One of them is making sure the American people know what has happened in the last 8 years to our military under Obama, and the fact that we have serious problems still. We're rectifying them now, but he gave us a real good insight into what is going to be happening in the next over the next few months that are coming up. And if you look at just for example, on our ground brigades, and this is something that was just, we found out that actually only 30% of the ground brigades can be deployed because of the maintenance problems. The Marines, they fly F-18s. 62% of the F-18s won't fly because they've been robbing them for maintenance and all that. So he was able, without upsetting Mattis. Mattis never wants to talk about the problems we have in the military because he thinks that would embolden the enemy. Well, I don't agree with that. The Americans need to know why we are concentrating on the high priority that this president, as came out of his speech, is going to give to rebuilding our military. Now, certainly, over there, Beth, you talked to a lot of people from all five of the areas that we have our five major military establishments in Oklahoma. I can assure you they're all going to be are very happy with what the president is doing. Now, the second area that I thought he did a very good job is explaining to people after this big the tax reductions, just what is going to be the result of that. The fact that we have tax cuts, everyone's going to appreciate it. We're on up now. Let's see, I think how many do we have in Oklahoma? 19 of the largest corporations have all given bonuses to all their employees. And I thought it was kind of humorous when Nancy Pelosi was talking about, well, what's $1,000? That doesn't mean anything to people. Well, maybe not to her, but it does to people who are out there paying for all this stuff. So I thought he covered the tax cuts in a way that made it clear that our economy is increasing. Since he's been in office, we've been over a 3% growth in economy, and during the 8 years of Obama, he averaged 1.5%. Now, the reason this is important is that for each 1% increase in GDP, that translates into additional revenue of about $3 trillion. Now, people are trying to say, well, how can they give tax cuts now when it's going to increase government spending? Well, no, it doesn't. And I have to remind some of my Democrat friends here in Washington, in the Senate, of what happened in 1962. In 1962, we had President Kennedy, and he was trying to figure out, he said, we've got to get more revenue into the federal government, and the best way to increase revenue is to decrease tax levels. And he's the one who brought the top level down from 90% to 70%. And the result was it increased revenue by 30%. Now, that's important for this discussion. I don't think he kind of drew those things together like he could have, but that means with the two big expenses that we're looking at now are military and infrastructure. So I think he covered my three issues very well, and he confined himself to the limitations that Mattis and some of the others had for him. So I thought it was good. I thought he came across well. And when he came and he said he's going to keep Guantanamo Bay open, I rejoiced because I wasn't aware that he was going to make that announcement.
You talked about how the president is hated basically in Washington. How does he go forward now for his next year when you still have that pervasiveness?
Yeah, well, the way he does it, first of all, take them one at a time. On the economy, people realize now that that's going to actually allow us to do more things from the federal government. The military, there's no one, it's very rare you find people, they may hate him as a person, but everybody knows now what's happened to our military. and then everyone is also aware of infrastructure. Now, what he's going to have to do, and I'm going to have to do, and others who are talking about this as an issue, is remind people that for every 1% increase in economic activity, that brings in about $3 trillion of additional revenue, and that we need to do that in terms of our infrastructure. And this is something that people are they're fully aware that we really need to do something. So it's going to be up to us to try to articulate these things so that we can keep these three issues in the forefront. And I think we can do it. I think he got a good start last night.
What's coming up, can I ask, for you that's a priority here in the next few weeks now that Congress is back?
Well, first of all, on infrastructure, I just have to remind people I chair the committee that is the Transportation Committee, and that's going to be a huge thing we're going to be working on. But the main thing is I've been the ranking member on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and we plan to make sure that our national security is going to be just people are going to have to realize the condition that we're in right now so we can do that. Frankly, those are the two areas that I hold the leadership in terms of the committees that deal with those. So that's going to be a lot of the work that I'll be doing.
In fact, you're holding things down for Senator McCain, right?
Yeah, we are doing that. Bless his heart, he's done such a great job, such an American hero, and we're hoping that he'll be getting back. And well, I made it real clear on it was actually a Fox News thing yesterday and the day before, twice this week, that while, yes, I am chairing those committees, but he is still in the position of making the decisions on when we're going to have the hearings, what they're going to be about, and who our witnesses will be, and that type of leadership. I'm just kind of carrying out what he is doing in his current state of illness.
Yeah. Senator, anything else you might want to add or that I missed?
No, I don't think so. I think those are the main things. Of course, you talked about the wall, that's the wall. We're all concerned about that. In fact, I talked to you about this one time. I spent 30 years of my life as a builder and contractor, primarily down there on the border in Texas. So I know that area down there. I know that we can do something to stop the crossing of the border. And I think now what he said last night, what he's willing to do it really is going to be hard for Democrats to turn down, because he's coming a lot further than anybody thought that he was going to come on the DACA issue. So he's virtually given them everything that they've been asking for. And I think what he's attempting to do is put them in a position where they had to go along with the secure border argument. So let's wait and see. We'll work together on that in the coming year.
All right. Oh, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you so much for making time for me. I appreciate it.
You bet.